The School of Hard Knocks 24 took place at the Spectra Place in Estevan. Amateur fighters from across Canada battled it out in the Hard Knocks cage.
To the School of Hard Knocks.
This School of Hard Knocks fight is an amateur bout at a catch weight of 150 pounds and is brought to you by Rig Pig Apparel. And now, let's meet the fighters. He's fighting out of Kenora. This is RODNEY
Rodney De La Rosa coming to us from United Fighter Mixed Martial Arts in Kenora, Ontario. Again, another fighter out of Kenora under the tutelage of Jesse the Water Bongfeld, coming in to make his amateur debut. 25 years old, stands just 5'3", and that may be an interesting matchup for him considering the height of his opponent.
And that happens to be, though, one of his strengths might help the situation. He likes the kicks. He likes the kicks, and that's a good way to chop the tree down of a bigger man, so I'm sure he'll really emphasize that point tonight. And he's working on his wrestling. He wants to get it on the ground and work an advantage there, which is, again, a good idea against a taller man.
A 9-inch height advantage for Mike PAPEQUASH in this fight. And Rodney training for the last 4 years and telling me that it's interesting because he just finished getting his degree in university. Said that he had promised his mom he would not fight until he got his degree. And now that he's got his degree in history and geography, well, now it's time to get in the cage.
Yeah, smart guy, you know, finished school, now he's here, big day. I'm sure he's been waiting years for this, and I'm sure everyone's proud of him.
And his opponent. He's coming to you out of Brandon, Manitoba. This is Mike PAPEQUASH.
Mike PAPEQUASH coming out of the Brandon Academy of Mixed Martial Arts. The first time he's fighting under that banner, came out and has is 0-2. And again, his last fight happened here just a couple months ago when he was knocked out standing, and is looking to avenge that loss tonight and get back to, well, within 500 as he'll looking for his first amateur win.
And it's funny, he mentioned standing up has been an issue for him. Just so happens he's facing someone 9 inches shorter, so a good chance for him to work on that strategy. He felt he won his last fight, but he got knocked out standing up, as you mentioned. And he really wants to keep his hand up. He gets caught looking at you, he admits. So as you see the tail of tape here, and he'll definitely want to work on his stand-up. Good time to do it tonight, and I'm sure he's up for the challenge.
And now, the official Hard Knocks fighter introductions. In the Power Dodge blue corner, it's his amateur debut. He's 25 years old and stands 5 feet, 3 inches tall. He weighed in at 144.5 pounds, fighting out of United Fighter MMA from Kenora. Please welcome Hard Knocks fighter, RODNEY De La Rosa. And in the Boston Pizza red corner, he's 0-1 as an amateur, 26 years old, and stands 6 feet tall. He weighed in at 147 pounds, fighting out of Brandon Academy of MMA. Please welcome Hard Knocks fighter, Mike Killer Pap. PAPEQUASH. This bout will be contested under amateur rules. The referee in charge of the Hard Knocks action is Mr. Elvis Lyon.
Elvis Lyon in charge of the action as both these fighters get ready to go. Again, the amateur debut out of the blue corner with the black and white Canada trunks for Rodney De La Rosa. The red and black with flames trunks for Mike PAPEQUASH. And again, that reach and those leg kicks immediately coming into effect as a jab sticks while the leg kick gets through. Big Superman punch, though, turned away by a jab by PAPEQUASH.
And it looks like PAPEQUASH having his heart set on the stand-up here as he's waiting for the punches and ready to throw some as well. Working the jabs and some kicks here, so he's being more aggressive.
And it seems that he's willing to take that leg kick if it means he can land a punch. And we'll see which one of these two wears down first with that strategy.
And De La Rosa trying to get a takedown there, but the long legs of Mike PAPEQUASH fended that off, but now he's got to deal with this corner attempt here.
Has him up against the cage. Had thought about a guillotine, a nice double leg takedown there from De La Rosa, but PAPEQUASH right on top and now has the back of Rodney De La Rosa, trying to crank in that rear naked choke.
Trying to use every inch of those long arms here, but De La Rosa fending it off all right so far, using the cage as an advantage there, and the ref warns about that. But right now, De La Rosa trying to survive a choke here.
PAPEQUASH has the back of De La Rosa. Now moves into a body triangle.
Lots of time here, a minute 35 left, so PAPEQUASH can take his time here and work the way he wants it.
PAPEQUASH continuing to try and work from the back, looking for advice from his coaches, and gets two elbows from De La Rosa as a response.
And PAPEQUASH trying to get looks like some kind of choke here. De La Rosa's got his arm in the middle there, that's kind of defending it, and he's still trying to keep his arm there. He knows if PAPEQUASH gets a reach around, it'll be right to the throat, and De La Rosa holding on for dear life here.
PAPEQUASH trying to put his opponent out, but not really going to be able to do so from that position. De La Rosa almost rolled out, but PAPEQUASH again regains his back.
And again, PAPEQUASH can't get that arm out of the way. He's really trying for that throat, and every time he tries, the arm's there, or we get a rollover chance here. Nicely done here by De La Rosa, and now he's on top.
So De La Rosa on top of PAPEQUASH.
I think PAPEQUASH is frustrated. He gave up that advantage there. He didn't have a very happy look on his face.
And just 20 seconds remaining in round number one. Looked like he was going to try there for an arm bar, but decided to bring his opponent's head down instead. And Elvis Lyon will stand them up with just 10 seconds remaining in round number one. And we are still going here. Whoa. And trying for the big front kick, Anderson Silva style, or Lyoto Machida, or Steven Seagal, if you'll believe him. Tried to land that big kick up front. He got it up to PAPEQUASH's chin, so full credit for almost kicking a guy in the face that's 9 inches taller than you. A solid performance in that round from both fighters, but for my money, it's got to go to PAPEQUASH.
Yeah, he definitely had the advantage for the most part on top there. And he did give up the positioning a couple of times, but he recovered, didn't take any major blows, was never in danger of a submission as we get some replays here. So I agree, I think PAPEQUASH got this round, and I think he's feeling lucky he avoided that kick at the end, because De La Rosa had some heat on that high kick, and if that would have connected, that might have caught him off guard and been trouble for him.
Yeah, a little bit of steam there on the kick as both fighters get the last word from their coaches. Again, Mike PAPEQUASH in with the gym, the Brandon Academy of Mixed Martial Arts, for the first time as a fighter, saying it's improved his game by leaps and bounds. On the other side, you've got a guy that's been training for 4 years for this opportunity to get into the cage, and now that he has it, is trying to make the most of it.
And again, standing up to start this round, much like the first round. Both men feeling each other out here. There's a body shot by De La Rosa. Kind of backpedal PAPEQUASH, and a jumping punch. I think it got him in the eye there.
Yeah, it looked like he might have caught PAPEQUASH in the eye, but PAPEQUASH responding with a flurry of punches on his own, but a nice takedown there from De La Rosa.
It almost seemed like that leaping punch kind of agitated PAPEQUASH as he just responded with looks like some frustrating beatdowns on the backside of De La Rosa. But now it's on the ground, and again, it's PAPEQUASH from the bottom this time.
De La Rosa continuing to work from the top as he looks to get the round back that he likely lost on most of the judges' scorecards here in round number 1. Nice right hand there, sneaks through, or left hand, sorry, sneaks through and lands on the face of PAPEQUASH, who's doing a good job of limiting the damage so far, and we know that Elvis Lyon will stand them up, as he did in round number 1, if PAPEQUASH can hold on and prevent any damage.
And a nice position for De La Rosa as Coach Bongfeld right in his ear right now.
And a triangle choke now being attempted by PAPEQUASH. He said to me earlier today his triangle's gotten much tighter since joining the gym, and doing a good job of preventing that is De La Rosa, not allowing him to torque it or pull down on the head. And De La Rosa doing a good job of staying on top of the much longer fighter in Mike PAPEQUASH.
And now here's a good guillotine chance here. That looks bad.
And there's the tap. Mike PAPEQUASH falls to Rodney De La Rosa after a very quick transition to a rear naked choke.
Yes, a rear naked choke. I'll correct myself there. And PAPEQUASH definitely frustrated. He thought he had this fight, but in the end, it's De La Rosa, the opportunist, saw an opening and took it. And he got a good firm grip, pulled back, and that was all she wrote.
Ladies and gentlemen, we have the official decision. Brought to you by Rake Pig Apparel. The winner at 1 minute and 44 seconds in the second round. The winner by tap out due to rear naked choke. In the blue corner, Rodney De La Rosa.
Rodney, I'll get you here, center of the cage. We were talking earlier today that you promised Mom you wouldn't fight until you finished school. How fast did you want to finish school to get this feeling?
5 years ago.
Now you've been training for 4 years, got into the gym. That training really seemed to pay off when we're looking at the finish here.
Well, felt the triangle get pretty tight. Just kept calm. Tried to get the leg stepped over. Quickly go into side control. Hook the leg. Try and bait him into giving me his back a bit. You can see that right here. Once he lets go, I sink it in. Choke him out.
A lot of speed there on the finish. Were there any hesitations when you're looking across the cage at a guy that's head and shoulders taller than you?
Personally, I'd rather fight tall guys. I got small, feel like I have something to prove. Fight anyone.
A lot of coaches and sponsors to thank behind you there.
Yeah, I gotta thank Jesse Bongfeld, KRIS, and Chris Harper, coaches, the rest of my fight team for training, keeping me conditioned, as well as University of Guelph wrestling team.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, one more time for your winner, Rodney De La Rosa.
To find out more about Hard Knocks Fighting and upcoming Hard Knocks events, please visit hardknocksfighting.com.
This school of Hard Knocks Fight is an amateur bout in the heavyweight division and is brought to you by FiberSpar, the industry leader in tubular products for the oil and gas industry. And now, let's meet the fighters. He's fighting out of LaRonge, Saskatchewan. This is Devon Smith.
Devon Smith comes down to the cage. They call him the Giant Killer. That's because he normally fights at light heavyweight, but he's fought his last 2 fights here in Estevan for the Hard Knocks Fighting Championship as a heavyweight fighter. Now, again, normally fights at 205, has been knocking guys out in very impressive fashion here. The holder of the Hard Knocks record for fastest knockout, 8 seconds versus Wade Baldwin. He took out Felix Jimenez in 1.5 minutes. He has not spent 2 minutes in a Hard Knocks cage, and he has 2 knockout of the night bonuses.
And his opponent, he's fighting out of your hometown. This is DAKU.
So Derek DAKU, as always, here in Estevan, Saskatchewan, getting the loudest applause of the night. Half the crowd on their feet for this man, and that half is getting bigger by the second. Derek DAKU, the 46-year-old 2-0 amateur, comes down to the cage, and Devon Smith may have only fought 1 minute 38 in Hard Knocks fighting. Derek doesn't have much more than 2 minutes himself. The two of them combined to less than 6 minutes in hard and heavyweight action, and Derek DAKU looks to come in and take home a title.
And now, the official Hard Knocks fighter introductions. In the Power Dodge blue corner, he's 2-1 as an amateur, 23 years old, and stands 6 feet, 3 inches tall. He weighed in at 224 pounds, fighting out of Prestige Worldwide from LaRonge, Saskatchewan. Please welcome Hard Knocks fighter, Devon the Giant Killer Smith! And in the Boston Pizza red corner, he's 2-0 as an amateur, 46 years old, and stands 6 feet, 3 inches tall. He weighed in at 227 pounds, fighting out of Estevan Combat Sports from Estevan. Please welcome your hometown hero, Derek DAKU. This bout will be contested under amateur rules. The referee in charge of the Hard Knocks action is Mr. Elvis Lyon.
So Elvis Lyon.
Center of the cage, please. I want a good, clean, hard fight. Give you everything you got. Protect yourself at all times. If you're going to touch gloves, touch them now. Back to your corners. Good fight.
So DAKU in the red, in the white trunks, coming out of the red corner. The red and white trunks for Devon Smith coming out of the blue corner. Don't blink, kids. This one could be over quick. Touching gloves in the center of the cage. And DAKU immediately looks to shoot something that's totally different from what we've seen from him in the past.
Just a takedown attempt?
The surprise in your voice says it all as Derek DAKU tries to take him down, and he told me that he'd been spending some time training in Vegas, working his ground game, trying to get his ground game to a point where he didn't have to stand and trade with an obvious powerhouse in Devon Smith.
And this is a big man on top of Smith right now. If Derek can get an arm free, he can start teeing off, and Devon will have a tough time getting out of this.
So Smith doing a good job of holding him down after giving up the arm in guillotine choke. And again, Elvis Lyon has had no trouble standing guys up. Trying to sweep, and successful is Devon Smith, now on top of Derek DAKU as he tries to unload and goes to body twice before getting stopped up, and now slamming his opponent up against the cage and trying to go body head. DAKU in a little bit of trouble here. Devon Smith punching hard, trying to get his fingers off the cage is Derek DAKU, but he struggles back to his feet.
And Derek grabbing the cage here. The ref trying to get his hands out of there, as he does now.
But a smile on the face of DAKU as he feels like he's got a standing guillotine choke.
Oh my.
He's leaning into this for everything it's worth. He's got Devon Smith up against the cage and in some trouble here.
No tap yet.
As no tap comes through, Devon Smith trying to fight through a guillotine. Derek DAKU giving it everything he's got to get the choke out and win himself a heavyweight title.
But Smith's doing a good job. He's absorbing this, and he's not wasting a lot of energy here.
The hands maybe not as tight as they could be up against DAKU. Now Smith pushing back, body checking DAKU up against the cage. DAKU with the smile on his face now, starting to feel the air come out of him as he goes up against the cage, and again driven against the cage by Devon Smith.
But I don't know how many points DAKU's earning here. He's not really damaging Smith right now, just more or less holding him. So it looks more dramatic than it might actually be here.
And again, trying to crank on that neck with that arm, that one arm a little too deep. And Smith now trying to secure himself a takedown. These two heavyweights going at it here in our main event from Hard Knocks 24, live from Spectra Place in Estevan, Saskatchewan.
And I see the official getting a good look. They're making sure that choke is legal. And it looks like it's A-okay, but again, DAKU not getting the full leverage as he had at the initial grasp of that hold. And right now, more or less, just kind of gaining body position and dominance here, but Smith not facing too many effects right now.
And Smith trying to secure a takedown to match the one DAKU had earlier in the round to maybe get it on the judges' scorecards. These two guys are looking to round two as DAKU and Smith went hard at it in round number one.
And DAKU gave Smith a bit of a tap, just like, hey man, good round, let's get ready for another one. So mutual respect here, I think, for both men. And I think both men will be looking for a better round. I think DAKU was looking for a good quick kill there, went for a big strike, ended up going for a takedown as the situation was there. So you got to score that round for DAKU.
Yeah, I think the submission attempt with the takedown might work in DAKU's favor. I thought of the limited striking there was, I thought that Devon Smith got the better of that in that round. So it'll be interesting to see coming out for round number two how these guys' engine is. I mean, DAKU must have burned out a lot of energy trying to pull that guillotine and holding that guy back and holding up his weight and trying to get that choke can burn a lot of energy. And a big deep breath here and a big smile on the face of Derek DAKU as he gets ready for round number two. Devon Smith equal to the task and comes out, and DAKU comes out swinging again, looking for the takedown again, and slams Smith to the ground and lands in the guard.
And no signs of fatigue here from DAKU. Smith thought this might be an advantage going to a second round, but right now DAKU again on the attack and again with an advantage.
Now he's landing shots to the midsection of Devon Smith.
This is pretty impressive, something we both didn't think we would see here. Strategic round game here from DAKU.
And a second round.
Exactly.
DAKU is throwing inside and now again holding onto the cage and getting talked to by the official Elvis Lyon. And Elvis Lyon saying something else there. I didn't quite catch what he had to say, but it may be a warning to DAKU about grabbing onto the cage.
And I know in the first round, well, he was on the bottom, he was grabbing the cage. He's got the advantage now, so real no need to grab the cage. And now he's taking some shots, although he is on top.
DAKU now taking some shots to the ear from Smith. And both of them, DAKU coming back with a fury and a frenzy of his own, dropping a couple bombs, body, head from Derek DAKU there. But he's eating a couple shots from Smith as well. Both fighters busy in this position, but when you've got both fighters landing strikes, it's going to go to the guy on top in the judges' scorecard.
And something to take note of, guillotine chance here for Smith, but DAKU has been slowing down in the last few moments here. Maybe the energy is starting to wear thin on him. As right now, that's a looking good guillotine there.
The hand is there, he taps.
Smith has done it.
Devon Smith wins himself a heavyweight title, coming in and for the third event in a row has taken down a hometown hero, and he'll take home the gold. Derek DAKU suffers the first loss of his amateur career after a very impressive performance.
And I just think he got tired. You know, he had the advantage, but Smith got a hold of his head, pulled back, and that was it.
Ladies and gentlemen, we have the official decision brought to you by FiberSpar. At 1 minute and 44 seconds in the second round, the winner by tap out via guillotine choke, the new heavyweight champion in the blue corner, Devon the Giant Killer Smith.
Devon, I'll get you center of the cage. Hard Knocks 16, you take out Wade Baldwin. Hard Knocks 21, you take out Felix Jimenez. Now, tonight, you take down probably the most popular guy in Estevan sports, in Derek DAKU for the belt. How do you get out of the building?
I brought a disguise, so I'll be all right. Or maybe I'll get Derek to maybe escort me out.
I'm pretty sure he'll raise a beer with you at the Beef Bar after party, which everybody should be going to. Not the fight that we expected from two guys that were throwing bombs every time we've seen you. A lot more of a ground game tonight.
Yeah, I expected that he was probably going to shoot in and try and take it down, and I thought I'd do better keeping it standing, but he came in so fast, those heavy punches before he shot in, and got in on me pretty good.
Now, walk us through, we got the replay here up on the big screen. Walk us through the finish.
I was just holding on, and I felt slowly my arm sneaking up under his neck, and I knew it was deep under there if I just got a hold of it. He was pulling hard to get his head out, and he was close, but I squeezed with everything I got, and never thought I'd see myself winning a fight by submission.
Now, Prestige Worldwide, the gym you're running out of your garage. Why don't you talk a little bit about Prestige Worldwide?
It's pretty scientific stuff, that gym. Just a name that we heard sounded pretty prestigious, so we went with it.
All right, and I'm sure you got some coaches, sponsors to thank.
Yeah, I want to thank Chasing the Dragon, Rig Apparel, for hooking me up with this gear. And I want to thank my cornerman here and my trainer and little brother who's been with me there the whole time. And soon we'll see him in there and he can throw bombs just like me.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, let's hear it one more time for your winner and new heavyweight champion of the Hard Knocks Fighting Championship, Devon Smith.
To find out more about Hard Knocks Fighting and upcoming Hard Knocks events, please visit hardknocksfighting.com.
And now, the official Hard Knocks Fighter introductions. In the Rig Pig Apparel blue corner, it's his amateur debut. He's 38 years old and stands 6 feet, 2 inches tall. And weighed in at 204 1/2 pounds, fighting out of Big Man BJJ and Gary Goodrich Pride Legends from Toronto. Please welcome Hard Knocks fighter, Ryan the Bullhammer Shanahan. And in the Flamins Fitness red corner, it's his amateur debut. He's 30 years old and stands 5 feet, 10 inches tall, and weighed in at 203 pounds, fighting out of MMA University from Calgary. Please welcome Hard Knocks fighter, TOWLER. This bout will be contested under amateur rules. The referee in charge of the Hard Knocks action is Mr. Len Koivisto.
So Len Koivisto back in charge in the center of the cage. Ryan Shanahan taking on Phil Towler. And if I showed you a picture of both of these guys, there is no way you would think them in the same weight class. A serious height and reach advantage for Shanahan over the much wider build of Phil Towler.
Yeah, I would have pegged Ryan Shanahan at 185, and Phil Towler definitely looks 205. I wouldn't be surprised if he had a fairly decent cut to get down to it.
But big legs on Shanahan, actually. Take a look. He's got those pro skater's legs, and I'm sure they carry quite a lot of muscle in them, and that is where the weight comes from.
Good accurate striking to start the fight. Both fighters feeling each other out.
Well, you mentioned MMA University, well-trained, all of their fighters that we've seen here in the Hard Knocks cage, but Ryan Shanahan training under Gary Goodridge, who Pride fans will remember, a very accomplished fighter in his own right, and runs the gym out there in Toronto.
Good takedown there by Phil Towler, more of a football tackle than a double leg, but trying to slip into that arm triangle there. He's got a mount. He needs to get to the other side and then start to rotate around. But big arms there. He needs to get his head a little lower too. That's going to end up helping if he can get his head underneath that elbow. But nice and tight, and he's looking to tap him. There it is.
Phil Towler gets the tap and has something to say about it on the way out, as Ryan Shanahan falls to an arm triangle and Phil Towler gets a win in his amateur debut.
We've got the official decision.
We have the official decision brought to you by Human Canvas. The winner, due to tap out, due to an arm triangle at 1 minute and 17 seconds in the very first round, in the red corner, Phil Towler!
Phil Towler winning his amateur debut.
To find out more about Hard Knocks Fighting and upcoming Hard Knocks events, please visit hardknocksfighting.com.
And now, the official Hard Knocks Fighter introductions. In the Rig Pig Apparel blue corner, she's 1-0 as an amateur, 28 years old, and stands 5 feet, 5 inches tall. And weighed in at 134 1/2 pounds, fighting out of Dragon MMA from Fort St. John's. Please welcome Hard Knocks fighter, Robin Combs! And in the Flamins Fitness red corner, it's her amateur debut. She's 22 years old and stands 5 feet, 10 inches tall. And weighed in at 136 pounds, fighting out of MMA University from Calgary. Please welcome Hard Knocks fighter, KRIS the Punisher POMERLEAU! This bout will be contested under amateur rules. The referee in charge of the Hard Knocks action is Mr. Brian Beauchamp.
So Brian Beauchamp in charge of the action. Robin Combs in the blue trunks out of the blue corner. The shorts for KRIS POMERLEAU as she comes out of the red corner, the black shorts. And we are underway. And Combs throws the first shot, that one deflected by POMERLEAU. It looks like POMERLEAU is going to have a big reach advantage.
Yeah, and a smile on her face. I don't know many who go into a fight smiling, but good for KRIS. I was just, wow, big shot there, nice left hook, and it's got Robin Combs backing up.
Well, again, in her first fight, Robin Combs did not face much in the way of opposition, especially striking from her opponent, but tonight seems to be different as a couple rights and lefts have already made their way through, although Combs has landed a couple of her own, but it seems to be that the reach advantage playing into it early here in favor of KRIS POMERLEAU.
No, absolutely. The thing that we need to watch for KRIS POMERLEAU is as she's snapping out one hand, she's punching with the other before the other hand retreats to return to her chin. So when she's punching in bunches, those hands aren't coming back, and if Robin Combs can time that, she's going to be able to counter punch. But I'm sure her corner's going to notice that and hopefully make an adjustment before the next round.
Minute 50 to go, 3 3-minute rounds. A big right hand there from POMERLEAU.
Do you see her head snap back?
That I did, and you could hear the crowd behind us appreciating what POMERLEAU was able to do with that right hand.
And still smiling, so POMERLEAU stalking forward, perhaps maybe a little bit of an intimidation thing, saying, I'm enjoying punching you in the face.
Trying to get her up to the cage, another knee thrown, the clinch, also very effective for POMERLEAU so far. No quitting Combs, though. caught the punch and moves up against the cage. You can hear knee being called for by the fans, but not necessarily her coaches.
Well, fans know MMA too.
That they do.
Especially here in Calgary.
There's a bit of a break, a bit of a mouse under the eye, probably from that right hand on the face of Robin Combs. One side of her face seems to have taken a bit more damage than the other.
See, and at this point, you look at Kris Pomerleau being smart here. She's not necessarily pushing for the action. She's got to know that she's won the round at this point, just with the much more effective striking and cage control. So no need to necessarily push and put yourself in a bad position for a counterpuncher, because again, you look at Robin Combs, has a good solid build and probably able to put a pretty good shot in there if she catches her. Good leg check.
Kick. A bunch of punches making it through there after the leg kick got checked, and just under 10 seconds remaining here in round number 1, and Robin Combs was in trouble. That is the end of the first round, and Kris Pomerleau gives one for the fans on her way over to let her know that let them know that she appreciates their support.
Yeah, we're gonna look at the replay here of some of the action. Those are leg kicks, and there's that left hand followed by a right and then another left. There's multiple big shots there. But again, the one thing I'm concerned, and this is nitpicking at this point, but Kris Pomerleau's hands are right down by her chest and not up by her chin. And that's something that Orestes Bertrand, who's in the corner there, is definitely going to be talking about, keeping those hands up. It only takes one punch in MMA, one shot right on the off button, and you want to be able to make sure that your hands are interrupting that.
Well, you wouldn't have a DVD full of the UFC's greatest comebacks if you couldn't just knock somebody out with a single punch. And you're right, Kris Pomerleau's got to be aware of that. Also, I thought she had a little, in the punches, in the flurry that we saw a moment ago, and we'll just take a look at this replay here, but it looks as though as she's stalking her, she's almost not got that killer instinct yet. When she had her up against the cage and had her in trouble, she didn't swarm and try and finish, and when Robin turned and kind of effectively ran away from her, Kris just kind of waited for the round to finish. When that last 10 seconds is coming, you got to try and, at any point you have to try and finish the fight. A little more aggressiveness, but again, making her amateur debut. So again, maybe nitpicking at this point as we get set for round number 2. So Robin Combs in the blue trunks, out of the blue corner, out of the red corner. In the black and white trunks is Kris Pomerleau. And again, a big smile on the face of Pomerleau as she approaches. Although she took a right hand for her trouble, smile not going anywhere.
Some people just enjoy punching, and she's enjoying it right now. 3 or 4 big shots there, all hooks landing, and I can understand why Robin Combs might be backing up at this point.
Again, a big reach advantage for Kris Pomerleau, and she's putting it to good use. Going forward, working the jab, and then, like you said, those hooks have been landing throughout this fight.
Well, and a little bit of red leg there by Kris Pomerleau, because a couple nice leg kicks landed by Robin Combs, and they haven't been checked. They haven't even been acknowledged at this point. So maybe that's a strategy as Robin Combs can put forward and maybe attack that front leg, take away that power base for those shots.
Another right hand got through over the guard of Robin Combs, and her face is starting to get a little chewed up.
Well, it's almost a scowl now, less than a smile. Maybe she wants to finish her off at this point, but.
And Robin Combs will have something to say with it. Some of her counter punches getting through, but it does look like she's taking the brunt of the damage. Looks like a standing guillotine attempt there by Pomerleau, but that didn't get through. Big knee to the midsection.
1 minute, 18 seconds remaining on our feature clock. Of this, the second round in our second fight here at the Hard Knocks Fighting Championship, number 23 already. Wow, Ryan.
Yeah, and not going to slow down anytime soon, with 24 and 25 happening in the next 3 weeks. So Chris Pomerleau again stalking Robin Combs, has landed the better of the strikes this round. Another right hand snaps back the head of Robin Combs, who's proving to have a very durable chin, Jeremy.
Yeah, she's holding on really tight. I'm surprised that she hasn't taken a knee just to be able to get away from this onslaught, but right in our face now and still trying to defend. Some big shots there, and now just grabbing on is Chris Pomerleau.
Robin Combs has eaten a significant number of punches, and she is still game. The smile not quite as wide on the face as Chris Pomerleau, as she maybe thought that that was going to be the end of the fight there.
Well, and credit to Brian Beauchamp for not stopping it. In an amateur fight, a referee is again wanting to protect the athlete. 10 seconds remain in the round now. But Robin Combs still defending, and look at her good solid position, still hands by her chin. You know, so far she's lost these first 2 rounds, or at least in our opinion, but wow, she's really sticking in there to this.
Well, and it looks as she's going to get to a 3rd round, and anything can happen. Like we said a moment ago, Robin Combs in tough, but in this fight, Chris Pomerleau, though, likely the winner of the first 2 rounds. I can't imagine a judge scoring it any differently, but I've said that before and been completely wrong. And as we take a look at the replay here, again, more of Chris Pomerleau just stalking Robin Combs and landing punches.
Yeah, you watch her continue forward. A nice right there that kind of hit on the ear there, and just punch after punch. It's like she has no off button at this point. Both fighters have no off button. Robin doesn't have one on her chin, and Chris Pomerleau doesn't have one on her fists.
Now, so far, so good for Chris Pomerleau, but Robin Combs looking good in her corner. And again, the stand versus sit down mentality, as Pomerleau standing to show she's fresh, whereas Combs taking the rest. And that mental aspect plays heavily as you get into even the pro fights, Jeremy.
Yeah, you look at every gym is a little bit different and has their own philosophy on what they want to do. I know that a lot of the Brazilian gyms prefer the standing up because a lot of their fights, unofficial fights, don't happen in a cage. They happen in a street, in a parkade somewhere, so they don't really have an opportunity to sit down in between their rounds. But you look at the Brazilian training techniques again at MMA University. Orestes Bertrand, an accomplished fighter in his own right, getting ready for some more MFC fights coming forward.
So round number 3, 3rd and final 3-minute round here in the amateur ranks. 5-minute rounds later tonight once the pros take the cage. As Robin Combs comes out of the blue corner in the blue trunks, it's black and white trunks out of the red corner for Chris Pomerleau. And again, the striking and the smile just keep coming from Chris Pomerleau.
Yeah, absolutely. And she's, again, doing a better job of keeping her hands up, but needs to bring that hand right back to her chin, because the last thing you want is to dominate first 2 rounds and then just get caught the wrong way. There's so many fighters in the history of this sport that can say, oh, I was dominating them up to the last 10 seconds. I lost concentration and got caught.
Now at this point, Jeremy, if you're Robin Combs, do you try and take the fight to the ground and try and finish with a submission?
Unfortunately, with the amateur rules and with Chris Pomerleau still being appearing so very fresh, I might just try and go for broke here. Taking them down, you can't finish the fight really with head strikes, and trying for submission. I don't know quite Robin Combs' ability on the ground or Chris Pomerleau's ability to defend on the ground, but anything to try and change up this current structure, getting in behind, maybe rushing forward, something a little more unpredictable. She's proven that she has the chin to be able to rush forward and take a few shots coming in.
Both fighters exchanging punches, but not much damage landing. Biggest one of the round probably belongs to Combs a few moments ago.
And a nice kick there by
Combs.
Combs.
Nice kick to the midsection as well.
And showing cage control, nice knees to the inner thigh. Those don't feel good, especially the next day. Don't necessarily feel them, but they're training stoppers because you have a bruise on your leg for the next 2 weeks.
So more punches getting through. Combs trying to get wrist control, but unable to do so.
And just being patient with these shots. No need to rush here for Chris Pomerleau. Obviously winning the first 2 rounds and just trying to remain in control. 50 seconds remain. on our feature clock. You see that in the bottom right-hand corner. Of course, it is round 3.
Again, Combs around the center of the cage, controlling the cage at this point, but I think Pomerleau, like you said, Jeremy, just content not to take a knockout punch here in the last 30 seconds.
A win is a win, whether it's a knockout or a decision. You never want to leave it in the hands of the judges, but I think if any judge scores this anything other than Kris Pomerleau victory, there's something really wrong.
Less than 10 seconds remaining now, or just about 10 seconds remaining now in round number 3, the third and final round, and Robin Combs going for broke, trying to throw that big last strike and get in there and finish this fight with just a few seconds left. But like you mentioned, Jeremy, it was likely going to be a Kris Pomerleau victory, and that is the end of the third and final round. Kris Pomerleau will be the winner against Robin Combs, who proved that she could take everything that Kris Pomerleau had to give in that fight.
If you look, there's a couple opportunities here, but some great shots landed by Robin Combs throughout that, including a nice big kick to the midsection, a nice shot there that you see on our replay, another jab there that lands. So if every round was like that, it'd be a lot tougher to call. The problem is the first 2 rounds were so clearly dominated by Kris Pomerleau. Looking at Kris Pomerleau, she does share the body type of a lot of the successful female competitors. Very, very tall, very athletic, and this is an opportunity, and this is a very impressive showing that she showed. Didn't find herself in trouble at all during the fight, and we'll hopefully see more from her coming forward in the future. Earlier on, we mentioned there's lots of opportunities in the women's division. It's just a brand new start to the sport, and we've seen even Ronda Rousey, the current Strikeforce champion, was a former Hard Knocks fighter.
Ladies and gentlemen, we have the official decision brought to you by Hotel Blackfoot. The winner by unanimous decision in the red corner, Kris the Punisher Pomerleau.
Pomerleau wins her amateur debut, an impressive showing.